and welcome to Tales of Neverwhere, the YouTube channel where I talk about everything related to fantasy, whether it be books, movies, games, costumes, and more. In today's video, I want to compare the ways that people read books, and I want to discuss two of the main ones that I personally indulge in. The first one being the ebook, and of course the original one, the book version. So in today's video, I will be comparing my love for real books and my love for my e-reader for you and give you the advantages and disadvantages of both. First things first, we're gonna start with the actual book, the book, as some people like to call it jokingly. If we're talking about reading, sometimes with friends we're like, do you read books or do you read books? And that's what I refer to with like a regular book. That's this. It's a physical book. I personally am a very big fan of hardcover books and not so much of softcover ones, because the softcover ones tend to damage more easily. So that's one of the negatives already of like physical books. They tend to get damaged more easily than your ebook will. And if your ebook has a book, then the book itself doesn't get damaged, but this one might. One of the things that I do really love about physical books is the way they look. Like, I have a bookcase full of gorgeous books, and especially if this one is from Illumicrate or Fairy Loot, I can't remember which one right now. These books all have special covers, special designs. The exterior looks a little bit different. They have spray painted edges like this one. They have foils, they have drawings inside of them. Show you. So this is the cover that you slide over it, and this is like the foil cover that's inside of it. The drawings that are in the books, like you have extra artwork on the inside covers. I think that nothing can replace the charm of an actual book. Like, reading an actual book is such a unique experience. The way they look, the way they feel, the way books smell even is something that I personally really enjoy. Now, one of the things that I love about my book collection is that they look gorgeous together. Ever since I started getting book subscriptions, like, it has upgraded the looks of my bookcase so much, it's insane. Like, beforehand, I would of course buy specific books that I liked, but nowadays I am very much on the lookout on limited editions or special covers or spray painted edges or anything that looks a little bit more unique. Now, of course, I also still have like my pocket books, the books that get read over and over again, used and abused, and that honestly, it's surprising at how much I've read this book that it still looks this good. Like, it has edges folding up. I know in one of my other books it has like cracks in the center and pages falling out. So I do love both types of normal books, but like my favorite one is, if I can pick, I will pick the hardcover book. And I don't always like that they have like this overlay stuff, because this gets damaged really easily. But if I know that it's a book that I will be reading more than once, or if it's a book that really interests me, I might still buy the pocket versions and specifically the softcover versions, because they fit into my bag more easily than these giants of books do. Now, of course, as you can maybe tell from the background, I also have like larger books that are soft covers. If I can, I personally avoid buying softcover books. So the advantage of a book is that it's a physical thing that you can hold, that you can admire. It looks pretty, it smells nice, it's lovely to hold it, to read it. It's a work of art. Like, the person who writes this book, that's their main goal, having the actual book made. The downside to it is that it gets damaged more easily. I love to read outdoors. I love to take my books with me anywhere I go. So for example, if I'm waiting in line somewhere, that I can actually read my books, etc. And that's not always as practical with the physical books, unless you don't mind them getting damaged, of course. So then let's talk about the infamous e-reader or e-book. This is actually a digital device. This cover comes with it. Well, I bought it with it, but it's actually only the thing you see inside here. I'm not going to open it or take it out, because it's actually quite fiddly to put it back in. But the cover that it comes with can actually act as a stand to keep your book upright when you're reading as well. I love my ebook, and I will quickly tell you why I actually got an ebook, and I only got it last year. Before last year, when we went on holiday, I was always carrying around like 5 books, more or less. Whenever we go a week on holiday, that's more or less what I tend to read in that amount of time. And I had my physical books, and my partner actually already had an e-reader with a black cover. That's how we keep them apart. And I had a lot of troubles reading next to the pool. So we were hanging around the pool side, we were swimming a little bit, and then we went back onto the beds and we were reading. Now, most of my books that I took with on holiday were books that I don't really mind getting a little bit dirty and a little bit damaged, but they really got messed up. Like they got like a little bit of humidity to them, so the pages like swole up and started like wrinkling a little bit. So the books that I took with on holiday are in like not the best condition anymore, is all I can say about them. The thing is, with real books also, compared to the e-reader, my book pages are a certain color and the text printed on it as well. So I had to often put on my sunglasses in order to be able to read, because the sun was so bright and reflecting from the pages that it would actually hurt my eyes to read without my sunglasses. And then you had my partner with his screen that he could adjust the brightness of, etc. And it was like really... So after the holidays 2 years ago, I actually got one for myself last year. And I believe it was around 150 to 200 euros for my e-reader. Now I have the Kobo Libra 2, which is the H2O version if I'm not mistaken. So it is... I'm not sure if it's waterproof or water resistant, but it is like you can get it wet and it won't be damaged. Like you can't soak it for a super long time, but still if it falls into water and you take it out, it won't be damaged, because that's already happened to me once. And also like in rain and stuff, this thing doesn't get damaged. The only thing that has damage for me is the cover, and the cover is somewhere around 25 euros, so it's easily replaceable. Now, if we compare the price point of the ebook without any actual books on it versus the real books, the book books, then you will pay 200 euros for your e-reader. So that was more or less what I paid for mine, including the cover. And an actual book will cost you between 15 to 35 euros, depending on the book. So if we say that for the price of one e-reader, you can get about 10 books, more or less, I think that's reasonable. So 10 physical books versus one e-reader with no books on them. What happens then is if you buy an e-reader, you of course have to put your e-books on them. Now, I am fortunate enough that this is linked to bol.com and also the Kobo app. So Kobo and Bol, which is a sales website similar to Amazon, but then a little bit different for Belgium, that you can like purchase the books immediately through the e-reader itself. Now, prices of e-books are very strange to me, because an ebook is basically a PDF version of a book. And what I think would be great is if you buy a physical book, that you would get a code to also get it as an ebook. Because right now, every time I buy a book that I also want to read on my e-reader, for example, because I'm going on holiday, I don't want it to get damaged, it's a special edition, I have to buy it twice in order to be able to read it most of the time. So I have ebooks that cost me 5 euros, I have ebooks that are for free, I have ebooks that have cost me the same amount as a regular book, so you pay anywhere between 15 and 35 euros for them. So it really depends what you want to read and like how much you are willing to spend on it. So if you want to spend money on books and you love books and you love reading and you take good care of them and you don't take them anywhere super specific, then maybe you won't need an e-reader. Whereas if you're like me and you carry your books around everywhere you go, then I would still recommend investing into an e-reader. One of the nice things as well is right now it's shut off. And when it's shut off, you can actually see the cover of the book that you are reading. Otherwise, when it's turned on, whenever I start reading, I just flip it open and it goes to the page where I left it. What I also really love is that with a physical book, I need to have my night light on next to me if I want to read in the evening or at night. Whereas with the ebook, it illuminates itself, it illuminates the screen, and it also has like an evening/sleep mode, where instead of everything being black and white, it turns into a more yellowish color, which is much easier on your eyes to fall asleep to after. And one of the advantages that I also had is I was reading a book, I'm not sure which one it was exactly anymore, But the physical book, so the printed book, the letters were so small and then also a bit was in italic that I really struggled reading it. Whenever you have an ebook, you can actually adjust the size of what you are reading. You can put it bigger, you can put it smaller, you can even adjust the typography that is used in the book, which are all really nice advantages to me. And I will still keep buying nice and pretty books. Don't get me wrong, I still have my Illumi crate and my Fairy Loot that I really enjoy because I get all of the pretty books. And I will keep on buying pretty books. But the pretty books, what I do most often is I will try to read them in the book version, and if I want to carry it along, etc., I will try and find the ebook version as well, hopefully cheap. Sometimes yes, sometimes no, it really depends. Some books right now are starting to also include the ebook version for free with the physical copy, which I personally think is amazing and everyone should do, because now you're basically paying the same amount of money twice for the same thing, the exact same thing. On that note, feel free to let me know what your thoughts are on physical books versus ebooks, and what do you prefer reading? Do you have a specific preference, or like me, does it also depend on the type of book, when you want to read, etc.? I would love to know. Thank you again so much for watching, and I will see you very soon with a new video. Bye!